search was so long.
Yes.
There have been direct experiences, and there is some knowingness now.
Okay.
But
please speak. Please say. He said, but.
Yes. It has been found that direct experiences cannot be doubted, but yet there are questions that haven't let go yet. Mooji, there's no remembrance of a time when there wasn't this I before identity. I mean, since 2 years old, 3 years old, that's always, it's just here, right? I mean, okay, so as far back as this one can go now, there's primal I. It just appears in void.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Void is a word that we use because we don't know another word we can use. You can say
right.
Void or emptiness, but
okay.
but when we use the word of emptiness or void, it's as though we're referring to some kind of like it's a thing apart from us, but we are that self.
It's one stuff.
We are that. We are that itself, and this is how we express in this form. Also, the form is there, and we that absolute pureness is also experiencing the life in this body as what we call human experience. We are also this, but in our purest expression inside this is just the intuition, the feeling of existence and presence, which doesn't really belong to any race or any gender or any conditioning. Actually, it's there. It can observe the conditioning, the play of conditioning, but itself is not. Itself is capable of perceiving without identifying with what it perceives.
Yes, that has been experienced.
Yes.
And it's constant. It's presence and void have just blended. It's a constant awareness, even if the me jumps in and there's focus on whatever.
Yes.
There is always this,
yes.
Whatever word.
Yes. You have expressed it quite adequately, beautifully for now. In saying that,
Mooji,
yes.
The direct experience was a seeing, but also a seeming stuckness, because there's no knowing how to be void, emptiness, knowingly. It's like
there's no effort there, my love. There is no effort. Listen, if there comes in, because that very statement would come through the mind, like
yes,
there is no way of validating that or of continuously being that emptiness or something. This is an afterthought. You are already that, and there's no effort there. It is already so. It is already complete. All that is taking place is a recognition of that takes place.
But it's totally impersonal.
Yes.
And you are the emptiness, but there is such big love in the emptiness.
Yes.
In the void experienced here, it's just one stuff unendingly and impersonal, and so much empathy is felt with all the suffering every place.
Yes.
And from what I hear, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
No, I would like to say something on this. You have grasped quite truthfully, and I have no doubt from direct seeing that it is so. That itself is pure. It has no division, has no category, has no future, has no past. That pure. And yet, in its manifest aspect, in this body, and as the sense of being, as you said, the sense of presence, which itself, the sense of presence and the absolute awareness, they are one. They have merged. They are one. But with the body, you as that can experience dynamically differences, change, time, space, love, fear, all of these, all the full spectrum of feelings and potential of feeling and thought is at the service to this that we are in expression. So it's like we are both, and beyond. You are both. This feeling of presence in this body, and then further on from the presence, the sense of being a person or personality, which is the conditioning that arose in presence. Yes. And then earlier than presence, you are as pure awareness, that which is incapable of evolving or changing. It is always the same, but ever fresh. It's not stale. All of this is us. There is ourself in its limited aspect or expression, which is the body mind, even the beingness or the presence, and our unlimited and unchanging and permanent everlasting self as the awareness. We're all this. And knowing this, not just in the mind, but knowing this in our completeness, is allowing you to feel empathy with all the expressions of yourself, which we may call other beings, but at the same time, there is still a detachment, because there is a deep intuitive knowing that this is there's a dream quality about the dynamic world and the life, even of myself as a person, seems to lack the credibility, the authenticity of everlasting truth. It is a phenomenal life and appearance in me. That's my self-tasting. How I was yesterday, how I felt myself yesterday, I cannot recall today, not now. I am aware of myself now, in now. But in the time of now, this moment will also pass. And the passing of this moment and the remembering of that moment, all of that, belongs to that river of time and names and forms, which is perceived in myself as presence and through presence. And this presence is happening or occurring in the absolute awareness that I am. It is like this, and it's not something that I'm continuously working out or figuring out. There's an effortlessness about this this perception, you may call self-perception, world perception, and yes, of my intuitive self-awareness at the same time. You see, so I am trying to hold on to the question that you asked me now. Your question is, please say.
With what you've just said was experienced, but it was experienced with no context. It was the experience that started the hardcore seeking. Not is this, but what is this? And that began the seeking. And because there was no context during the experience, within 3 days, the me had clawed its way back to active.
The sense of me will naturally somehow re-enter the field of perceiving, and the sense of identification will occur. It's a natural phenomenon. However, what is different is that you are now in a place of self-awareness in which you can clearly see that the coming back in of me is just a cloud passing through that vacant sky. It is only through what I would call maybe our affection for the reminiscing of the sense of who we are that can again give life and energy to this thought of me. It will come. It is a phenomenon. But you are there who is perceiving the sense of the mind or the identity or the personality coming back in again. There's no need to be afraid. If you are clear that you are the space inside which this re-entrance is only another phenomenon. Only if you re-identify with that and think, oh no, here it comes, which is clear that it's only a phenomenon. But there's an affection for this phenomenon because so much energy has been spent in the terms of desire to push this phenomenon away. Now you can allow this phenomenal sense of identity to just be there, because who is it affecting? It was only affecting the idea you have of yourself previously. Now you are more stable and clear that you are the awareness self, you are the presence, and you are that witnessing presence of this sense of identity, which should even be more clear for you that you are not that, in fact.
There is no doubt that I am not that. The moment-to-moment experience is, it's mind, it's emotion, it's like, because there was the detachment is an okay word.
Okay.
But from the moment-to-moment experience, now the detachment is not there, even though there is knowingness that it.
What should detachment feel like?
That's it. The me says, "Oh, remember the huge experience when the Earth tilted?" Okay. So, because as you were speaking, there are times when you're speaking from that nowness, that timelessness. Yes. And there's times when there's a color happens and you're speaking in terms of what was, the wasness of the experience, which is the memory of the experience. And that's seen too.
Okay. When that is seen too, in the moment of seeing, what are you?
This without a name, without.
Now, just look at only this, and really confirm for yourself whether this is subject to conditions. Just for yourself, you see. So if it's clear that this is not subject to conditions, then what is really happening when you say the mind came in and sometimes leaves a sense that it's taken me away? What gets taken away, and of what consequence is that to this, the sense of being taken away?
It is of no consequence to this, and that's the outrage.
And the outrage for who?
Where is the caring? Where is the love?
No.
The big love, not the.
Let me tell you, I would really want to say in this moment, don't define the awareness even by love.
I know.
No. I'm not pushing the love away, because love is really a credible aspect of that, in the sense that the love gives warmth and richness and fullness and joy to the pure seeing. But
you have to let go of truth. You have to let go of love. You have to. I mean, it is just.
When you say let go,
empty of everything except maybe it knows it is. I don't know.
Yes, but it has no issues about love or anything else.
Yeah.
You see.
So is it the me that?
I feel it is the mind imitating or projecting how sterile the
Yes.
being should be, so that love, no, it's not love, and it's not this, and it's not that, and being very, very sterile, uh, in a kind of, it's a sort of neurosis of that ego in its subtle imitation of the self.
Ah,
Oftentimes, what people sometimes they call themselves neo-Advaitists get stuck into this, you know,
I don't know that, but it's okay.
okay, but get stuck.
Neo, I don't know
Well,
that,
okay,
but
forget
it's
about it. But there are some people who are speaking like this, that there's absolutely nothing here. There's absolutely nothing, and so on, so on, so. And I said, well, who are you who is perceiving this? It,
the
it,
aliveness.
yes, but is this aliveness needing to have gloves on itself? It's almost as though there's a fear that somehow love somehow distorts it or corrupts it. But I say love and space and peace is the fragrance, the perfume arising out of that self-recognition. You see, there is just something that smacks a little bit for me when we say, yes, but it's not the love. But I think that often why we are saying this is due to the memory of kind of the human notion of love, which is often a love that needs something else, that needs to contact an object and to feel a kind of emotional relationship to it. But I'm speaking about love in its purest sense as the unicity of being. But it includes also the expression of love as empathy and compassion. All of that will be more beautifully experienced when the pure seeing is confirming itself.
Okay, so
It doesn't need to
the
create a condition like, okay, there should be no love. Love is kind of belonging to consciousness and mind. And all this thing about peace and joy, all that belongs to the realm of mind. We don't have to be so paranoid about it. It's there. There is the purity of that which is. It's not sterile, and it's not reacting against or judging. Its child, which is the consciousness and the field of presence and perception, all of that arises out of the pure awareness itself, and is blessed by the power of the awareness. It cannot manifest and be perceived and endure without the scholarship of pure awareness. It's all together one.
say that again, please.
That this manifest world of feelings
Yes.
and time and love and compassion, the sense of duality, let's call it the realm of names and forms of time
Sure.
and relationship. None of this can appear and be perceived without the root awareness as its support. It's like every tree that you see, whatever form of tree, whatever species or category it comes from, all of them are rooted in the earth and take their sustenance from the earth.
That's it.
So where you see a living tree, be sure it is rooted in the earth somewhere, somehow. It cannot just grow in
Yes.
space. And so whatever arises out of consciousness, in the dynamic consciousness of time and change and relationship and names and forms, it is rooted, anchored in that seamless and pure and formless awareness.
There's no
Root.
consciousness in void. Consciousness can't go there.
Well, I am sorry to say, in this kind of way. I think it really, I am not sure where we are heading with this, because this you may call pure consciousness. The pure, if you, maybe the word void is one way in which it might feel right to you. It can be void, it can be pure emptiness, it can be pure consciousness, supreme consciousness. It is referred to. It is referred to also as pure consciousness, pure consciousness.
Okay, that's in the experience. There was all of this. Oh, just one stuff and awareness, and like you said, the illusion of everyday life. You
Yes.
know, the me is here, everything is happening, but it's there's
Let's put it like this. Just like the sky is sky.
void.
Can you hear me at this moment?
Yes, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Just like if I wanted to say, just like the sky is one, and whether they are rain clouds or rainbow or light clouds or no clouds, it doesn't affect the totality of what we call sky. The clouds are a part of that sky. But you cannot say the sky belongs to the clouds. It's more correct to say the clouds is part of the sky, and the clouds and the rainbow and the light and the darkness are all part of the aspect of it which is changeful. But the fullness of it is eternally it is just one. But the cloud shapes, they come and go. What I'm really pointing to with this example is that awareness should not be only perceived, especially from the place of the mind consciousness, being referred to as almost like it's sterile, it's void, there's nothing there. But it is you, it is also yourself.
Yeah.
You see? And what is able to experience that if there's no experience there? What can be aware of that except itself? And how will it be aware of itself if there's no experience there, if there's no knowingness there? I call it a non-dualistic recognition, because there is some aliveness is there.
How could it have been seen as sterile or impersonal or void or empty if there was no awareness?
Exactly. Awareness is aware of itself, but not dualistically. And this doesn't make sense to the rational mind.
No, it doesn't, but that's okay.
It's a deep intuitive knowingness.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any past and future about it. It's just in a place that's indescribable, the space.
Well, through decades, the me has loved the best it could. The sculptor, the practicing poet, the student of philosophy, the guardian of animals, and nothing that was assumed. I mean, those things were never what they were assumed to be.
Yes.
It was all just ways of staying open.
Yes. And the only
to
thing,
remember.
yes, the only thing that was subtracted was the identity, the belief that is what I am. They were activities that occur in consciousness in its expression through presence as the sense of being someone. I see it in a very gentle and soft and casual way. That it all seems harmoniously integral and simple. There's an innocence in all of it. I am aware that I am conscious and that I am perceiving, and that there's an effortlessness about all of that, as though it is just going on by itself. The sense that I come to know that that there's the body and the senses and the feeling I am, which is my awareness of existence in this body, is part of the dynamic expression of consciousness. And also there's just the awareness of this. And where is that awareness placed? I don't know. It's everywhere, maybe.
There's no place.
You see? So
it's not.
It seems to have a place when it's here, and it says I in here. It feels like it's here. But this here...
but it's the tree and it's the sky.
Yes. And this is fine. This is fine, because now this can be fully allowed to be what it is and to be expressed as whatever it is, because it's also just passing, and it's part of the joy of the total consciousness, which can only embrace and taste joy by manifesting in the body and through consciousness, through the dynamic consciousness. When I say dynamic consciousness, the consciousness that gives you the feeling of existence, of the tasting of experience and diversity, of the world of names and forms of time and changes and relationship, all of this play is not an intimidation to that presence. It is just its playground, you may say, I don't know, a way in which it appreciates its own existence and its own beauty and power.
Okay, I'm not going to try to talk to anyone else anymore. They just confuse things. They're so genuine, they try so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that just stirs up me and the attempt at definitions and the attempt to try to understand.
Yes, and sometimes it's a false need to understand.
Yes, I'm beginning to see that just now.
Yes.
It's like, don't worry don't worry what is sensed as impersonal. Don't worry because when void was experienced, and you can't even call it an experience because consciousness didn't go there, because it the only word that still has meaning here is beyond.
Yes.
It's like a poet, Archibald MacLeish, said, if God is good, he is not God. If God is God, he is not good. You can't define, stop trying to understand, because you understand only through duality, and it can't be any of that. It has to be beyond that, just like the felt sense of this, of presence.
Yes, there comes a time when there is a stillness and a self-satisfaction that comes to rest with not knowing. And what I mean by not knowing, I mean informational knowledge, the need more knowledge, and because that's always hunting for a new place to see or to be or to, I don't know, it just smacks of a lot of mind quite often.
And it that's what it does.
Yes.
It's not going to stop doing that.
Yes.
So there's more disidentification needed in each moment.
Yes. There comes this beautiful moment when I feel you hinted at something, which is I feel there's plenty of space in that. And what I heard is maybe to drop this, I don't know if a need or tendency to keep discussing these things with people who perhaps they themselves probably get a sort of pleasure sometimes out of the feeling of, because there's a kind of joy in seemingly contemplating these things, but sometimes it just stays in a realm of the mind. And, in the real seeing, it comes, you surpass the field of concepts.
Yes.
And something just comes to rest. It's not needing more. And somehow in the silence of its own self, whatever...
And that is the love I feel in you.
Yes, and in the silence of its own self, if there is something else to refine, it just does it spontaneously, automatically. Not by headhunting, but just by just being with yourself. It's fine, it's just something just arises as a pure joy, and there's a silence in yourself that you allow yourself to experience again, the ease and the freedom, the effortlessness, the naturalness of your own self. Because this body, we don't have to cast it aside, because now we realize that awareness is beyond quality. Because while this body is here, it is also an evidence of consciousness. This is also consciousness body. And there's also the sense of presence in it. While that sense of presence and the body is there, perceiving will occur. Duality is there, and I don't perceive duality as a mistake.
No, it can't be.
It's not. It's just too rich, and it's too much a way in which consciousness using itself as a sort of mirror to itself.
And it really is seamless. It is that space.
Yes,
anyway.
and to enjoy its reflection, and seeing that all of this manyness and diversity is at the same time emptiness and one and whole. It's like this. You see, this is my experience, I would say. And there's a time when it just becomes heavy and tiring to keep pushing the mind into all these little corners of I don't know. I say no, forget about it. There's something here that is already at rest. It has used all the concepts it could use as mirrors to enjoy its reflection, and now it's not needing to keep on looking for more at its reflection. It simply is. And
that deepest stillness,
yes,
was for so long, even the person could not fail to keep going there.
Yes.
like you had to go someplace, but to just be with that stillness, and then you aren't being with the stillness. There is just the stillness. And for a long time there was this sense of stark aloneness. And just today, with your words, a big chunk of that just floated away. And I don't mean you, person. I don't know Mooji, the person. I don't mean that at all. You know that. You know what I mean.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what was known on that first YouTube video. And that's where the little me found the courage to email, and that's where
and I am very happy for that connection and contact with you, because I can feel through your contact and how you speak, the energy of what I hear from you, that sort of authentic vibration that I feel when I hear you speak. That I just want to reassure you. There's no don't push. Don't try and push for more and more clarity. You are here. You are here. You are complete. You are here. Just exhale in yourself, and just you are here. There's nothing more that you need the mind for. The mind is just going to be the puppy of the being. Let it just. It will do its work, and it will fetch the papers. It will do what it needs to be done. But you are home. You are already here. It's like there's not further to go unless you court these ideas mentally or conceptually. And then you're going to have to make the necessary effort to try and fulfill your projections, which you've shot past the mark with the mind. You are just here. I feel it inside that you're seeing is sufficient. It's completed itself. And if you keep on using the mind to try and give this sense that there's more to be done, then you will keep on referring to an experience in the time zone of wasness. When you say, when that happened, it was. And it's enough was about it. It is. And it is. And it's announcing itself. You see, it doesn't need the mind anymore. The mind has been the mirror that showed itself again, so to speak. And you're just here. And in the quietude of your own self-recognition, whatever else needs to be tidied up, swept clean, sunk, merged, it will happen by itself, out of the power of your own seeing. There's no donkey work to do.
That stillness and vibration and fullness is Mooji? This is so backwards to the mind, but it's like you are my mirror. that is with utter humility and humbleness, but that's
your words, I have to tell you, they are just so sweet inside my heart when I hear you speak.
But it's the sweetness that makes the words try to happen.
Yes.
That's why I emailed that you're so beautiful to me, and I don't mean,
Yes.
because
don't say what you don't mean. It's okay. I know what you do mean.
Okay. You're always here, Mooji.
Yes. So are you, my love.
That is not fully seen, but you are seen. So if the mirror is there,
yes.
It will blend. That's what you're saying. It will blend.
It is one.
That is known. It's just not. I'm not even going to say that anymore. Never mind.
Yes. Don't say that anymore, because what happens is that then the mind keep a registration like there is still some distance. It widens an apparent gap, and that is not true. When you say it is known but is not, I feel you're going to say not really been directly experienced in its continuity or something, or its effortlessness. And I'm saying don't say that anymore. Leave that alone, so that the seeing which is there, which is one with your own self, can fully declare itself, announce itself, reveal itself, like that. Just don't, because there's something sometimes in the words we speak that carries a little bit of this, almost sort of keeping a sense of distance, which is not true. It's not true.
There is. I tried to send a picture.
There's a picture of you here also.
No, in the email.
Uh-huh.
I tried to send it. I don't know if it got through. I sent it because it was that.
Yes.
The thread of this. It was space in the photo of the sculpture. See, everything has dropped away. Oh, God. Okay.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah.
What you've said is true.
There's no sculpting anymore. There's no poetry writing anymore. But there's no issue with that.
Yes.
This is life.
Yes. You are
and
life.
I'm resting with this.
Yes. And that need not be a sort of a deliberate rest necessarily. One is finding that there's already an effortless rest. Because resting and the beingness, they are one. They're the same. It's not that the beingness needs to rest. Beingness and rest, same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Then gradually, even this notion of rest will drop away, you see.
Okay.
You see, or of staying as the self. In its full maturity and recognition, the feeling of staying as, which is still carries the vibration of effort in it.
Right.
That will naturally fall away. We should not artificially push it away just to sort of make our language seem more authentic. It falls
constantly
away.
Changing.
Yes. Whatever is changeful belongs to the realm of the changeful and should be left and blessed as the changeful. But that is watched from the unchanging, and that is your effortless ground. That is already who you are timelessly. And who we are momentarily, who we are relatively, who we are dynamically, is the sense of presence acting inside this body along with the vital force. And all of this, if we don't try to work it out, it reveals itself in its unicity. On every level you begin to see that there's synchronicity on every level. And there is no need to be so strict or severe in our seeing, except if there's a need in a moment for that, but it's a momentary thing, and everything again relaxes into that pure and effortless being, beyond being and even non-being.
Yeah, see, I saw that.
Yes.
It's like I kept throwing myself against that perceived wall what I was calling void, where consciousness could not go in that direct experience.
Consciousness does not need to go if it is understood that the consciousness itself is being viewed from there,
Right.
and that there-ness is you. That there-ness
Yes.
is not an objective there-ness which is apart from you, which is here-ness. In the reality, there is no here-ness and there-ness.
Yeah.
You see,
And then it was like void is non-existence, and then I think, wait a minute, that's duality.
yes,
Yeah. I get it.
yes. All these words which contain
Sorry.
all the words which contain a fragrance of the duality, because the language is duality anyway, somehow, they, in the silence, all of them melt down into pure being.
Okay.
They become the essence again. They are baptized in the emptiness of the self again. When they arise, they can arise in their apparent manifold forms, but now their essence is emptiness. And this is not something that we are able or become more skilled to convey with words. Somehow in our silence this is understood.
Yes.
And so I say, if thereafter, let the presence speak. Don't let the mouth speak.
Yeah.
You see?
But I'm not going to think about that right now.
Yeah. Okay. It will just take
Because I'll
place.
just try then.
Yeah. Exactly. And this trying sense is coming out of a kind of cultivation that we have been doing, striving through the sense of trying and trying. Then you somehow, in a way, eclipse what is already spontaneous and effortless in you. That's why I said, just be quiet. Leave everything now. The job is done. You already, the mirror has shown you who you are. There's no more of who you are to be. You are simply here. And in that, you may call it a kind of letting go or an abandonment spontaneously happening, because you see that I just am. And don't allow the curling fingers of the mind to call you into some other kind of concepts to work out. Just be quiet and enjoy your self-recognizing in the silence of itself. No. And the rest, if there is a rest, that is being taken care of. Spontaneously, it's being taken care of.
I'm there will be no trying.
Yes.
Except I'm not taking my eyes off of the guru.
Very good.
And you know what I mean by
yes,
eyes.
I know. And I know what you mean by guru also.
Yes, I trust you do.
That's that guru within.
That
you
is.
are what? You are one. You are one. And somehow this is going to is cooking everything else, and it's washing out all the noise.
I am so ecstatic that I'm talking to an apparent human being that's walking around, who understands and more. I mean, on the dualistic level, this is like
very great.
I'm 63, Mooji. The search has been going on a very long time.
What I've heard from you in these minutes of talking, what I feel also importantly in my heart and intuitively, is that there is no more for you to do. There's no more for you to go. You are the self who has seen itself. And somehow, maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason this happens. Sometimes it happens.
I didn't do it.
No. This I, we can leave this I out of it. The self is seeing itself. It has caused the seeing of itself, the self-recognition, to be occurring. And if there is an aspect, some remnants of its portrayal of itself through the mind and consciousness as a person, or as a sense of a need to try and keep on looking and ironing out the wrinkles and so on. And now it is hearing, relax, it's okay, you're here. There's nothing you need to do for this anymore. Just, you are here, you are this. You are this. This is the only thing that you may say, remember, if there's a need in that way, is only that it's already so. It's fine. And in that, rather than in trying to scratch at the mind, it's in that self-recognition that be clear about your position, that you are that in whose presence all movements are perceived, even the most subtle movements of thought, of emotion, names and forms, time, relationship, imagination, all the forces that can manifest in the mind and consciousness, they are reporting to you that innate seeing. And that when I ask the question, can the seer be seen, then somehow an introspection goes
you
on.
drove me crazy with that question.
It is such a potent question.
Yes.
Because it removes the residual impression inside the mind that we are a kind of object. Because if we're an object, then it was clear that an object cannot perceive itself. And if we could be perceived dualistically, if we could be perceived, if ourself could be perceived, then by whom would it be perceived? And so with turning the attention inwardly, one finds that there was nowhere else to go except that you are again that emptiness, that void, that you see. And so what it does is it actually melts out the remnants of, I am an object, even in the subtlest way, and brings it again into its original purity. Just this. Then all the other noise that were emanating out of that distortion or out of that modification, that I am still a seeker doing something, all of that noise is also swept out. We don't have to say, okay, I am there, this is it, or nothing like this. There's nothing we have to say. Just there's a natural sweetness in checking inwardly when the thought arises and it's posing into some particular posture. When that soft checking in, for whom is that perception? Who sees this? On whom does this impact? And no one is found. There's no landing place for that question, except there is a sweet joy arising from the non-finding of a tangible me. So I hope somehow, somehow looking and just kind of combing through some of these subtleties, everything again returns to silence and space. And yet it is not in conflict with the manifest play. That is simply it's recognized as an appearance, and that my feelings, my thoughts, while I have the use of this body, the taste of experiencing, all of that, I am in friendship with my expression. I am not in war with my expression, because everything is passing in front, and even the perceiving of this passing somehow itself may pass, but that which is ultimately and totally beyond, which is what I am. And I'm not referring to that as though it's apart from me somewhere else. I am that. Using the mind and the consciousness to speak on behalf of my wordless self. It's just something like this. I don't like to talk like this. I don't speak like this very often, but I'm speaking with you because somehow this talk can happen with you.
Yes, because that is the depth of this expression of this.
Yes.
This
What
this
joy.
this piece of the beingness, which isn't really a piece, but
Yes.
So
It's pure joy, Pat.
if you will, that's what joy is.
Yes, there's joy. There's joy in contemplating
I-
oneself.
I'd forgotten.
Yes, there is joy. Joy arises. Perhaps one of the highest expressions of the being, one of the highest joys of the being, is in contemplating itself beyond the dualistic representations, and finding that there's only the space of being, and yet there's no fear of the apparent becoming. There is the play, is the joy, is the meal of the absolute when it plays as presence.
I got a copy of the Gita you read.
Yes. The Avadutta Gita.
Yes. And I read it, but it's better when you speak it because then there's the vibration every place.
Yes. I am happy that you enjoy.
When other beings are in acute distress of suffering,
Yes.
I
Yes.
go to that, no matter what I'm saying or doing, I go to that stillness, that stillness,
Yes.
and hold them there.
Yes.
Mooji.
Darling, this is what all the sages have done. They do feel. They're not unfeeling beings. In fact, they feel deeply, but they feel without identity. And it might sound a bit strange, but it's sort of like you can feel the fullness. You can feel and empathize, and the compassion and whatever is arising spontaneously. You feel it and you bring it into that silence. It's not sitting on one's hands.
No.
Whatever needs to be done with the hands will be done, but inwardly there's a remaining in that inner solitude, that timeless space. And you have said something beautiful, because you admit to being in that space and holding the love, the need, the urge to alleviate the suffering of others in that place.
The empathy was not sought, it just happens.
Very good.
I don't mean sympathy, I mean empathy.
Empathy, yes.
And it was doubling me over.
Yes.
And one day, it was found to just going to that deepest space. And that's all I know to do.
It is all it is required, all that one can do. If I can just say about this, in spite of that response that takes place out of one's love and empathy, still the fruits of the outcome of that does not belong to anybody.
I noticed.
Yes. That you don't suffer in quite the same way about it. You will do. I once was talking with some in one of the meetings, and it came to me that someone was asking about these things, and I said, if a sage happened to be walking through some land, and suddenly an earthquake took place there, and there's collapsing buildings and lots of pain and lots of suffering, by every means I could see that such a one would be involved in every attempt to alleviate suffering, and yet inwardly you remain in a kind of emptiness, and yet at the same time you can feel the empathy, the compassion, the love, the need, and all what is required, but it's happening spontaneously also.
It's a full emptiness there.
Yes, it's a full emptiness, and when what has to be performed through that body and through that presence has somehow completed its expression, that being will walk on and somehow not carry any torturous thoughts inside one's being. It is something there. I don't know more on how to express this thing. that it's not that we have to be writhing in pain at everything that we see, because sometimes quite unexpectedly we may come to a scene that maybe others might think, but wow, you seem to help this one, but you didn't help that one. And you will have to admit that why I cannot say, but the energy was here to address this, but not here to address that. And that is it. It's not because that response is not coming from the mind, it's not coming from the past, it's arising out of the emptiness itself.
Okay, that shall be the only focus.
Very good. Very good, Pat. I am very happy to have had this time talking with you.
Can I send blessings to the Guru?
Of course you may. Of course you may.
Well,
the Guru blesses the Guru.
That's constant.
Very beautiful.
I have to say that is constant.
Yes. So,
there are no words, so
yes,
just blessings, gratitude. I'll keep the mirror polished. Yes, namaste.
Namaste.